Moses wasn't looking for God. He was just doing his ordinary job. But one ordinary day in the desert changed everything. In Exodus chapter 3, we find one of the most powerful divine encounters in the entire Bible. A burning bush that wasn't consumed. A voice calling a broken man by name. And a calling that would change the course of history. Most people know the surface story. A bush on fire, God speaks, Moses is sent to Egypt. But when you slow down and look closer, this moment isn't just about a miracle. It's a profound picture of God's holiness, His compassion, and how He calls ordinary, flawed people into His redemptive plan. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll never see your own calling the same way again. Number 1. The setting wasn't random. It was in the wilderness. The story begins in Exodus 3:1. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. Moses was 80 years old, a failed prince, a fugitive murderer, living in exile, doing the humble work of a shepherd. The wilderness wasn't a place of glory, it was a place of obscurity, failure, and silence. But that's exactly where God showed up. Horeb, later called Mount Sinai, would become the place where God gives the law. This wasn't an accident. God often meets people not in the spotlight, not in success, but in the quiet, forgotten places. Your wilderness season? It might feel like delay, but it could be the exact location where God prepares you for your greatest assignment. Number 2. The burning bush, a miracle that pointed to something deeper. Exodus 3:2 says, "There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up." Why a bush? Why fire? This wasn't just a magic trick to get Moses' attention. The bush was likely a common, thorny desert shrub. Nothing special, easily burned. Yet the fire burned brightly without destroying it. This is a powerful picture. Fire in Scripture often represents God's holy presence. The bush represents something fragile and ordinary, like us. The fact that it wasn't consumed shows that God's presence doesn't destroy what it touches. It purifies, it empowers, it sustains. Many see in this a picture of Israel in Egypt, afflicted but not destroyed, or even a foreshadowing of Christ, who would bear God's holy wrath on the cross and not be consumed by it. Number 3. Holy ground and a personal call. When Moses turned aside to look, God called to him, "Moses, Moses!" And Moses said, "Here I am." Then God said, "Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." Notice something powerful. God called him by name, twice. Personal, intimate. Then he declared the ground holy, not because of the mountain, but because of his presence. Moses had to remove his sandals, a sign of reverence and surrender. This is how God still calls people today, not with thunder first, but with a drawing of the heart. He knows your name. He meets you where you are. And when he calls, he expects a response. Here I am. Number 4. The God who sees and hears. God doesn't start with the mission. He starts with compassion. Exodus 3:7-8. "I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them." This is the heart of God. He is not distant. He sees, he hears, he knows, and then he acts. The burning bush wasn't just a sign for Moses. It was proof that God had not forgotten his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Even after 400 years of silence and slavery, God was moving. If you're in a long season of waiting, this should give you hope. God's delays are not denials. Number 5. The reluctant messenger and God's sufficient presence. Moses immediately objects. "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh?" He felt unqualified, too old, too slow of speech, too broken by his past. But God didn't argue with Moses' insecurities. He simply answered, "I will be with you." The calling was never about Moses' ability. It was always about God's presence. And then comes the greatest revelation of all. When Moses asks God's name, God replies, "I am who I am." This is what you are to say to the Israelites. "I am has sent me to you." Yahweh, the self-existent, eternal, unchanging God, the one who needs nothing yet gives everything. This same "I am" is the one who later says in the New Testament, "Before Abraham was, I am." Jesus himself. Number 6. The purpose of the calling. Redemption. God wasn't just calling Moses to a job. He was inviting him into the story of salvation. Moses would confront Pharaoh, lead God's people out of slavery, through the Red Sea, and toward the Promised Land. The burning bush was the beginning of the Exodus, one of the greatest pictures of redemption in the Old Testament, and it all started with a humble shepherd turning aside to see what God was doing. So, was the burning bush just a random miracle? Not at all. It was God's way of saying, "I see you, I hear you, I am with you, and I am calling you, not because you're perfect, but because I am powerful." If you're feeling stuck in the wilderness, ordinary or unqualified, remember Moses. God still speaks from burning bushes today. He still calls unlikely people. He still turns failures into deliverers. He still says, "I will be with you." If this spoke to you, like this video, comment, "Here I am, Lord." Share it with someone who needs to hear God's call in their life. And subscribe, because every story in Scripture has hidden treasures pointing us to Christ. The burning bush wasn't just about fire. It was about a holy God calling a broken man to set his people free. And that same God is still calling today.